Game number 2 of Wham versus Noosh, with Noosh trying to stay alive in this series. Wham looking to put it away and get to the semifinals. He is the favored player in these seeds, but Noosh, he's got some fight left in him as he's playing as the Roos against Wham's French on Lipany.
And look at what kind of Lipany we are having for us over here. Sometimes we don't have a single cliff. Other times, we have Mount Everest splitting the two players out there. Look at this. I'm not even sure if you can go on top of this massive cliff, but this
On the left side, I think.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you're right.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, the direct path between the two players are blocked, which just shakes up the entire thought process and game plan of both players over here from basically ground upwards.
This is kind of similar to the first game where you got like there's two sides you can pass on. So for you aren't, can you chop through those trees and get on the cliff? I don't think you can. So man, I've had some crazy seeds lately on this map. I've had seeds where my entire deer patch is up on a cliff and I can't even access it.
Oh yeah, we have seen some of those. Luckily, we don't have any of those, although we do have a boar on top of that hill, and truth be told, that might be the safest boar spot I've ever seen. Think about it this way. You take that boar in the middle, you could even easily wall yourself off, so you don't need a tower to protect your villagers, and what will the French player do against that?
Well, you're going to build yourself a prison for when the French players come for you. Because you ain't getting up there. You can't build. Maybe a siege tower can come up and latch onto the side of that cliff. That would be another cool use for siege towers. Be able to climb cliffs. Maybe we got to get that added.
I was so happy when I saw, I think it was, I don't remember which map it was, but once we saw a siege tower being used to carry a monk with a relic, and then it was like an ultimate failure, but it warmed my heart so much that we at least saw a siege tower being attempted to be used. Yeah. Set time,
Maybe you almost
siege
could have used it
tower.
on that last map. Maybe that could have been a sneaky way to take that sacred site instead of the slow siege. But anyways, no siege towers here. We've got Wham playing as the French up north, the Roos down in the south. Looking at this deer, of course, being picked up, and wolves per usual. Yeah, the boar is always in play when you think of the Roos. A lot of times these days, they like to drop town centers right on top of the boar. And look where that boar is to the north. It's by the gold and the boar. So that would be, there's actually 2 gold veins right there. Hey, look at all those sheep he's grabbed. Nice. Oh my gosh. Imagine a town center there on double gold and boar.
That's a big one. And also has a massive strategic importance in the long run.
Yep, and we see, looks like he's going to be aging up there. And we'll kind of, well, out of all the civilizations that you're going to like go for a mid-map town center, French is a little hard, right? Because they're going to be showing up early on with those knights and archers, and they're not going to let you easily take that. Look at these scouts. I'm wondering what's going through their mind as they scout this, and they're like, "Wait, what? What is this?"
Yeah, it would be interesting to see into their minds as they scout this hill and how they are just thinking, okay, I had a game plan going into this game, I will have to change that because I am certain that neither of them expected such a generation.
Yep, we've got. It looks like Core is pointing out that Noosh got a lot of the sheep, and I don't think he really could have guessed how to scout this map, I guess, per usual, with the mid being blocked there. But yes, we've got both players aging up. It'll just be a matter of, do we see a villager pool towards the middle? That'd be quite a long walk, to be honest, to go for that boar. And then, yeah, both of these boar locations kind of, even though it's resource rich, they aren't exactly close.
Yeah, and as you said, French obviously out there to contest map control, so walking out there is a massive risk for you.
Yeah, and I also, like, I'd be afraid to walk into that cliffside with all those knights that could chase me down. There's nowhere to run to.
What are we doing?
Uh-oh, he forgot.
Knuschelbär? He didn't finish. He didn't finish the golden gate. He's pulling the villagers for the boar.
Okay, he figured it. He figured it out.
I'm not sure if this was deliberate or just an accident. Makes me feel like it was an accident. But Vam has spotted those villagers moving out to the north, and that's what matters the most.
Darn. Yeah, he's got an escort there for those villagers. He knows what's going on and where to raid. There's 3 scouts there waiting, but there comes his own villagers. And he's already aggroed the boar to the left side. Yeah,
it's an insta tower, though. Knuschelbär, I'm certain he's going to get this board, but Vam's response is going to be immediate with a tower, but guess what? It's a fortress first, but the boar is still alive. The boar is still alive here and wreaking havoc.
Somebody stop that boar. It's on a rampage. We've got one French scout going down, a French villager taking the Wrath of Pumbaa. And now the Rus villager died.
No.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness. The boar is still alive. It's killing the villagers of Knuschelbär. Second one is gonna go down. Knight makes it onto the field.
Yeah, there's already Knight there. 2 villagers lost there in the battle. The boar is still alive. What chaos.
I mean, you were successful getting that tower up. But what's the price you pay for this?
Yeah, trying to get the tower down to the south. That boar is still in play. We don't know where it's going to land.
It's on the north. Ooh,
But still alive,
coming up for
and
a
the
tower
Knights
even.
are there watching. Yeah, he's going to try to kill it with a tower.
Yeah, he needs to. He needs to be careful about this one, because if the boar is killed on the wrong side of that tower, Wam's tower is going to knight it immediately. And here's the problem. Those wooden fortresses, they don't do much against boars, and boars, they actually deal a big punch to those towers. You can see the tower's HP going down already. I think a boar can take a tower down to something like 70 or 60% health by itself.
Well, and of course, he's got idle villagers during all this. Oh my gosh, he's coming in. They're going to try to snipe it outside of the range, but that's not bad. That's pretty close. Okay, so that chaos has ensued. Let's hope his macro has been good back at home while this has been going on. Some low HP villagers, too. He's got, like, he cannot miss a raid, and a tower going to be dropped to the northern side now.
And he's already down 5 villagers. That's the bigger concern. And now, with that hunting cabin down, it's a commitment to the boar. From that point on, especially with that boar being killed, if that tower goes up for Wam, that boar is going to be forever denied.
And we saw Wam was gathering stone, so he's... Well, I'm sure he's going to get some arrow slips, but I think he's going to probably go for a second town center here.
Yeah, speaking of which, Knuschelbär... Ooh.
Can they reach?
I don't think so. And the Knights are there to protect the villagers. That tower is going up, and you see, Knuschelbär is pulling the plug on this operation.
Oh, man. He's going to build a new hunting cabin.
Oh, that's hurt so much.
Will those arrow
Hunting
slits
cabins,
reach?
so expensive.
Wait, he might lose a
No
villager
way.
here. Those arrow slits are almost done.
No way that's gonna reach.
If he clicked the villager, I think he could get him. Hey, no.
The boar is
boy,
still
here
in
comes
range,
the
though.
charge.
The boar is still gonna be in the range of the other tower. He's not gonna be able to access that boar. There's no way.
This is so stressful. Well, for those of you who always wonder, how do you deny the Rus going for the boar and doing all this? This is probably a good clinic on how you can do that. Granted, it was a little bit far away, and he had like a perfect scouting on those villagers walking past, but he planned that out, and there's that second town center being dropped down.
Yeah, nice positioning out there for Wam. Already has a 7 villagers lead. Now it's going to increase that even further. And he's going to have just enough stone for another arrow slits emplacement out there on that tower. Missing a little gold for that, maybe.
Yep. Oh, another villager down. No, stay alive. Yeah, this has been stressful. And yeah, I think Wam's just sitting in a great spot economically. He's got his knights running around, being chased by some spearmen. Like, he's happy about this. He's done a lot of damage up here near the boar. I think Noosh is still gathering, though, despite all that.
Yeah, now you can see the other problem that Knuschelbär is facing. He bought another 150 stone, but because he placed arrow slits on his tower, he's still lacking 50 for a second TC. He wanted to go for a second town center, but he doesn't have the stone for it, which is going to set him back even more than he is right now.
That's a really good point there. Yeah, because he's not chopping for or mining for the stone, right? He's trading for it. But there we go. A second town center going to be dropped there to the northwest. But there's knights watching, but the spearmen are nearby to hopefully defend. Let's see if they're able to pick off any of these villagers. Did he pull off the villagers from the boar? I think that's what those are.
He had to. That other tower is denying the boar. The problem is that he might not even make it back home with those knights roaming his base.
Yep. Okay, so building that town center with 6 villagers right now. We see right now Wham sitting on 37 villagers versus the 29. Would you believe it that the villager train time has been nerfed for the French, because scoreboard says otherwise.
Yeah, let's be honest though, villagers were only lost on the side of Knuschelbär, and his food eco was also disrupted. I think he also had a tremendous amount of idle time on his TC because he simply didn't have the food. That's the tricky part with the boar play. You need to start gathering that boar as soon as possible because you're pulling so many villagers that you basically have very limited amount of food income. So If those villagers are idle for long, you might have an idle town center for quite a time.
Yep, so we've got that town center just now completed here at about the 10-minute mark. 2 town centers online for both players now, with Wham appearing to just kind of run Noosh around for the time being. But is that actually, is Wham going for the boar mid? Is that what's going on there?
Yeah, he already had one. You see, this northern boar is denied from Knuschelbär, but the other boar, that has been taken by Wham. And this is something that Knuschelbär didn't even scout. So Wham is going to get away with a ton of food income over there.
I mean, yeah, unlikely to just run a scout down that gauntlet in the middle, but yeah, that is going to be a problem. Oh, one knight going down and the other taking a lot of damage. Maybe a little bit of miss micro there, but I think he can afford it.
And now look at what Wham is doing at the bottom. He's walling himself up, essentially playing very similar to what he did in the previous game. And I'm looking at something. I'm not sure if you can see it too. Where's the third sacred site at? We only seem to have 2, right?
There's 3, 2 on the left, 1 on the right.
Oh yeah, you're right. I'm just blind. I didn't see the one on the far left. Nevertheless, this is volleyball. This could be a very similar game to what we have seen in game number 1.
If the wolf doesn't kill that villager. Okay, so tower shooting at each other for a while there. He did turn around and kill the wolf. It's always good. And yeah, it's a little bit of a stall out here, I think, towards the middle of the game. Although we do see Spearman already being trained for Wham. So Spearman is at archers too. So I think he has a 1-1-1. He's got each unit.
Yeah, it's one apiece. And look at the walls he's making. He managed to sneak this villager through, and I don't think Wham is going to spot that using the tower, unless he isn't looking at this part of the map.
Is that a knight?
Oh, he's going to get that.
He journeyed so far. Too bad.
I was a believer. Come on, that would have been such a nasty wall.
We've got a little bit of engagement here. Spearman fighting Spearman. We've got the horseman flanking around back, taking out the archer. Looks like a favorable trade here, perhaps by Noosh. Looks like he was able to knock out that tower as well, but we've got reinforcements coming in with a knight as well.
Yeah, these are expensive engagements for Wham. He's possibly losing a couple of these knights to the Spearman. The problem is, at least for Knuschelbär, is that he's still behind in terms of economy. Now, if he can get to Castle Age, get some relics for himself, he could compensate for this one. But Wham is also thinking about Castle Age with a pretty well set up eco already.
Well, and we've got knights look down to the south, getting ready to raid that southeast side of Noosh's base, and that's going to be some problems. He's starting to wall. Maybe he thinks he'll get it walled in time, but yeah, there's knights going to be moving in to hit him with a raid. Oh, look at that. Just what you mentioned, those knights. That's an expensive trade. It's hard to fight these battles when you have so many spearmen.
Yeah, exactly. Horseman Spearman here is much more cost efficient for Knuschelbär, and Wham needs to respect that push because there is some pressure coming out of the Spearman, and he wants to make sure that Knuschelbär can't get that board back for himself.
He's aging up at the Royal Institute while it looks like there's a raid going on in Noosh's base. I'm not sure if he was able to pick up any villagers there. It looks like he's being chased perhaps by some spearmen there on the minimap. But yeah, Wham's going to be heading to the third age. Oh, losing another. I mean, he just loses a villager here, a villager there. Like, I think I've seen 3 villagers die trying to build walls.
Yeah, and these are increasingly painful for him. It's just one villager here, one villager there, but it adds up over time, especially when you were also delayed with your second town center, when you were delayed with your boar. These are painful hits that you can't afford to let happen against a player like Wham.
Yeah, and seeing Wham hit the third age. Now, Noosh is also aging up with the Abbey of the Trinity. Taking a look at where those relics are, there's one there in the middle, and then kind of 2 in each other's kind of side pocket there. So, going to be a race there for that. I would say, yeah, I think it's pretty even as far as the weirdness of this map goes. But look at the villager count. Wham is in quite the lead right now.
Yeah, that's a growing concern for Knuschelbär. He's not that much behind. 18 seems like it's a lot. If you can get yourself a couple of relics to compensate, it might still be a surmountable lead. Especially if you can get yourself this boar here.
Oh. But losing more villagers. Oh, man. He's going to grab... Oh, he's going to lose more here. These are just so deadly. These night raids. And this is what makes French so powerful. Like, it doesn't
hunting
matter...
cabin on the north. Wait a second, it could be even more painful. Look at where all those villagers are in the north. Wham didn't spot that. That's a lucky one for Knuschelbär. Could have been a disaster.
Yeah.
Could still
Looks
be
like those
one.
knights still running around. Yep, finally gonna kill them. But those knights, they did plenty of work, and we have. Looks like the spearmen gonna move in towards that hunting camp. I guess those are all horsemen inside there. Yeah, which won't be great to be surrounded by spearmen.
Yeah, for sure. They're trying to bail on this one. Looks like they will at least get away. But the tower's gonna go down, hunting cabin's going down, and Knuschelbär won't have that boar for himself.
Yep. Oh my gosh, he's gonna lose all those horsemen. There's 8 horsemen in there. Wait, did he get them out?
Yeah,
I must have blinked. I blinked and they escaped. Okay, we've got villagers migrating down to the south. It looks like he's going for that deer patch. But yeah, here comes the French army, and they are upgraded, and it looks like he's going to really push his offensive right now.
Yeah, he's got Castle Age army. Only has 6 knights out there, but he does have the Royal Institute for the special upgrades, the Royal Bloodlines, for instance. The big difference is the Spearman upgrades, because you do have the Veterancy upgrade for Wam, also has the +2 attack, whereas for Knuschelbär, Veteran upgrade is just now coming in, and no Blacksmith upgrades just yet for those spears.
Yep, it looks like the spearmen going to be taking on the knights there in the front line. We've got some man-arms in there, but there's a lot of archers sitting on the back line taking shots at the spearmen as we have villagers flanking back towards the town center.
And once again is the delay tactics over here. Wam doesn't need to take an amazing engagement, he just needs to make sure that Knuschelbär is the one on the defensive, so Wam can just further his eco lead, but he's doing even more damage than one would expect. Forcing a lot of idle time, forcing Knuschelbär back into his base, double the army right now for Wam, and he's cruising on. Could even get a couple of villagers trapped in here inside that tower.
And Noosh has some food in the bank, but he's been pushed off those deer. Yeah, and as you said, 8 villagers. Oh no.
That's gonna be ugly. Probably without textiles even. Making a run for this one. Spearman might be able to save most of those.
Yep. Oh man, nice little save there.
Yeah, nice bloody blocking with the Spearman. Gets away with essentially all units out there. Didn't even lose a single Spearman. As I'm saying that, he turns back to fight, getting his Spearman picked off.
Looks like he's trying to do his own raid to the north. If perhaps Wam is asleep at the keyboard and he's able to pull off that raid, that could give him maybe an economic advantage to get back into this game. There's a lot of villagers there in that mine, but those horsemen still sitting there idle. Let's see what they do.
Yeah, those horsemen, those could be a key to the comeback over here, because now you have a 30 villagers lead for Wam. So far idle though, Knuschelbär is distracted by those counterattacks, but he's picking up relics. If he can get these walls up, get that raid going with the horsemen, and also grab the relics, there is still a way back for him.
Yeah, I mean, ideally he wants to hit this raid while there's a fight going on, and perhaps Wam isn't paying attention. But I mean, once you get to the top of the ladder, it's unlikely. Oh, did he see him?
Oh, that's so painful for Noosh. Opportunity missed there with the horseman.
Yeah, look, he pulled his villagers already. Oh man, that could have been a huge raid. But gonna lose. Are those 6 villagers in there?
Yeah, I would think so. And what's more important is that the second TC is also there. So you lose the second TC, your recovery arc is going to be much more difficult now, because you're behind in villager production even.
French says, what rams? We don't need rams. Okay, and right now, Noosh it appears that his economy is crumbling before our eyes. He's trying to go for a raid, but one villager maybe he could pick up there.
Too many hits taken, you get the feel. Just a punch from the left, a punch from the right, and slowly being ground down to oblivion. Losing so many villagers all across the game, and now recovery is just distant dream. 40 villagers behind, double the army for Wam. And Wam, he knows he's in command of this game.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a spearman mass there, getting that surround. Man-arms trying to do something about this, but the knights will be fine going up against those with that. Just the sheer number of army, size of army he has there, he can take that just fine. I think this horseman might have died back in the French base. Villagers idle. This is just not looking good for Noosh.
Nah, and the problem for him is that he might somehow survive this. The problem is that he will get defeated in 10 minutes if he survives this and plays on. Because the damage that he's taking right now is just too much to handle. Not even responding to the spearman, one has to wonder whether he's just typing GG. Looks like he's not. He's just not paying attention.
I don't know. There we go. He taps out. It looks like Wam will be taking this series and moving on to the semifinals today with a nice 2-0. Looked like a pretty easy series for him. And he'll be facing the winner of Vortex versus Beastie Cutie.
Indeed, convincing games here from Wam, both in game number 1 and game number 2. Knuschelbär had some good moves, and you can definitely see the improvement in his gameplay as well over the course of the recent couple of weeks. But he's still not at the level to beat someone like Wam. So he's going to be out here at the quarterfinals level of the second weekly, whereas Wam moves on to the semis.
Yep. So I think we're going to be diving